Your Excellency, Minister Fadlizon, Minister of Culture of the Republic of Indonesia, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, it's a deep honor for me to be here and to be able to address to you. And I'm also very honored to say good morning to you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Next slide. Ladies and gentlemen, in August 2023, something very remarkable happened. The famous Singosari statues were removed from the Wereldmuseum, so the World Museum at Leiden, the city where I have worked already for a long time. And they were returned to Indonesia. And for many visitors, those empty pedestals felt like more than a loss. They reminded us that objects carry memory, identity, and belonging, not just artistic value. Next slide. Yet, ladies and gentlemen, in that empty space, something new emerged. A magnificent Garuda statue. Likely created for a public space in Bali, it now stands exactly where the Singosari statues once stood. Its presence shows that heritage is not just static, it travels, it transforms, and inspires dialogue across continents. Indonesia is a heritage superpower, home to over 300 and even more ethnic groups, each with its own language, culture, and traditions. And this diversity at the crossroads of ancient trade routes, as already was said, makes every festival, song, and artifact a story of communities in motion. Next slide. And this special place of Indonesia in the world is evident at the same Wereldmuseum in Leiden. Visitors can see the doll collection of Queen Wilhelmina. She received them for her 13th birthday in 1903. 350 dolls representing Indonesia's diversity. Originally displayed in Batavia, Jakarta, later in the Netherlands, these dolls reveal more than cultural variety. They reflect historical storytelling, societal values, and colonial perspectives. History, ladies and gentlemen, history of heritage, history as such is always complex. But it's clear that Indonesia's heritage is not just national, it's global. It connects continents, histories, and generations, showing that culture transcends borders. Cultural heritage is more than objects, buildings, or folklore. It's a living thread, connecting past, present, and future. It's a conversation across generations, inviting reflections, interpretations, and action. And every artifact, ritual, and story carries layers of meaning. And these layers aren't just shaped by creators, they are also shaped by those who preserve, interpret, and sometimes misrepresent them. Take these dolls. On the surface, they show diversity, but beneath, they reflect choices, priorities, or biases. Were they neutral? Or is it a frozen colonial vision that highlighted some communities while ignoring others? And later in history, the Dutch emphasized relationships with traditional leaders of local communities, claiming only the Netherlands could hold the diverse ethnic groups in the Indonesian archipelago together, denying the existence of the Indonesian nationhood and disqualifying leaders of the nationalist movement. Did the dolls already foreshadow that history? And this raises a critical question. When we preserve heritage, are we protecting it or cementing someone else's version of history? True preservation embraces complexity, contestation, and change. It asks, who writes the story? And whose voices are heard or silenced? Heritage, ladies and gentlemen, must be inclusive, dialogic, and alive, not frozen in time, but connecting communities in ways that inform a fair and thoughtful future. And today, I'm happy to discuss three things. First, evolving identities and meanings. Second, innovative methods. Third, critical awarenesses and ethics. And I will end with a call to action. Next slide. Identities are not fixed. They evolve. Communities evolve. The meaning of a song, a ritual, an object shifts over time. What was sacred may become symbolic. What once marked survival may now mark celebration. Take traditional dances on Java. Many were once performed to ensure a successful harvest. Today, they are staged at festivals, signifying cultural pride. Next slide. Or consider the old offices of the Java's bank. They symbolize, next slide please, then we'll see the bank. They symbolize both colonial authority and economic modernization. Now you have to imagine buildings of the Javanese bank, and then you can understand what I'm saying. They were established in, the bank was established in 1828 for trade, but it also reinforced inequality. And post-independence, they became part of Indonesia's financial system, linking exploitation to growth. And preserving these offices is valuable, not solely as relics of Dutch dominance, or only as monuments of progress, but as heritage sites that acknowledge both colonial history and economic transformation, fostering dialogue about a complex past and its ongoing significance. Without careful attention, the layers of meanings in buildings, artifacts, or folklore can be lost. People may admire a statue or hear a song, but the original significance and lived experience may remain invisible. Historical scholarships, I'm an historian, historical scholarships helps uncover these layers, most successfully when done with communities, not for them. Collaboration reconnects generations, restores overlooked voices, and illuminates stories shaping identity today. Through this, communities can say, yes, that was us, and this is us now. Heritage, ladies and gentlemen, is not just remembering, it's connecting past, present, and future. Historical scholarship can and should empower communities to tell their own stories in their own voices, creating a living dialogue across generations. Now I go on with another slide. You don't see, but I now talk about innovative models. Here is the Java Bank. But now I would like to go on to the next slide, please. And, well, we are waiting for the next slide. Yes, there we are. Innovative methods. Ladies and gentlemen, we live in an age of remarkable tools. 3D scanning can preserve crumbling temples, allowing anyone to explore them virtually. Oral histories can be layered over archival photos, bringing images to life with the voices of those who lived them. Augmented reality can place visitors among ruins, like here, showing them not just as archaeologists imagine, but as communities remember. For documents, maps, photographs, I would like to call them 2D heritage. Physical repatriation is often much less effective than digitization and open access. Moving fragile manuscripts or images risk damage and limit them to one location. Instead, digitization, as shown by UNESCO's Memory of the World program, maximizes impact. Indonesia's Panji Tales manuscripts, part of the Memory of the World Register of UNESCO, and preserved in 4 different countries, are now globally accessible, letting scholars and communities explore these epics safely. Next slide. For opening cultural heritage to the world, the International Image Interoperability Framework, or IIIF, is essential. With IIIF, you can see how it looks like on your screen. With IIIF, manuscripts, books, and artworks can be digitized in high resolution and shared across institutions. And these allow researchers to study collections side by side, no matter where they are kept, while communities gain direct access to their own history. Many historical documents about Indonesia's past were created by elites, outsiders, sometimes in Dutch or often in Dutch, or sometimes in local scripts. At a first glance, these sources reflect the perspective of those in power. However, thorough study reveals their complexity and hidden layers of local knowledge. Used carefully, they help historians reconstruct the past step by step. Next slide. Now I come to modern technology. As an example, modern technology can help us. This is a picture of the Globalize project. It's a powerful example. It makes the VOC archives 5 million handwritten pages who were sent from Batavia to the Netherlands, Jakarta to the Netherlands. They make them accessible and searchable. And using AI, so this is AI for the good. Using AI and handwritten text recognition, scans become digital text, identifying people, places, goods, ships, and events. The data links to digital encyclopedia and knowledge graph enriched with ethers. Globalize promotes open science and public participation, allowing researchers, citizen scientists, and the public to explore and enrich the archives from all over the world. So this is accessible from everywhere. Ethical guidelines address colonial biases, ensuring these documents serve as a living and interactive ecosystem, opening the door to new narratives. Technology moves us beyond the old look but do not touch. Now we can say, come closer, touch the story, add your voice. But of course there is a caution. AI-driven tools risk sometimes oversimplifying histories or amplifying biases if they are not guided by diverse, community-led perspectives. And similarly, crowdsourced data must be protected through privacy protocols and to build trust. And curation by specialists is vital to ensure the trust in the data. I come to my third point, critical awareness and ethics. Ladies and gentlemen, every act of telling the past is a choice. Every narrative amplifies some voices and silences others. Every museum label, textbook, or digital archive decides what is important and what is left to gather dust. And these decisions are never neutral. They shape collective memory, influence identity, and determine whose experiences are validated or marginalized. AI and all our technology cannot resolve these questions. It cannot determine ethical priorities, recognize historical trauma, or weigh the consequences of erasure. Over-reliance on AI risks reducing heritage to algorithms, flattening nuances, exposing sensitive data without safeguards. Human actors, historians, curators, educators, citizens, we all have to reflect critically to the past. This responsibility extends beyond preserving or digitizing artifacts. It requires questioning why certain objects are preserved, why certain stories are celebrated, and whose absence must be acknowledged. Sometimes ethical engagement means returning objects to their rightful communities. Sometimes it requires rewriting museum labels, rethinking narratives, or admitting we have no right to tell the story at all. AI can support these efforts meaningfully. It can bring lost histories to life, amplify silent voices, create interactive experiences, and allow communities to engage with their own narratives, even if they are found, like here, they are found in strange documents and in foreign languages. AI can help, but only when paired with human judgment, ethical reflection, and a commitment to addressing contested histories rather than erasing them. Ladies and gentlemen, heritage is not simply data, and history is not just facts. Both are living conversations, complex, contested, constantly evolving, and they demand active listening, critical questions, and a deep sense of responsibility. Stories must remain accountable to the communities they represent, ensuring the past is not just recorded, but respected and nuanced, and understood in all its nuance. Next slide, please. Preserving the past is a choice. For centuries, historical knowledge was controlled by institutions. Today, participatory innovation can change that. Crowdsourced archives, community curation, co-creation, open digital platforms democratize history. Communities contribute with photos, letters, oral histories, and personal narratives, transforming history from top-down to inclusive, plural, and perspective of the peoples it represents. Participation turns audiences from passive consumers into co-creations. The future of heritage is not just what we keep, it's who gets to tell the story, how, and with whose voices. And let us choose inclusion, diversity, collaboration, and a history that belongs to all, while ensuring technology respects privacy and cultural sovereignty. I close with a call to action. And the next slide. Heritage is not a treasure chest we lock away. It's a garden we tend together, requiring care, new seeds, and space to grow. And just as the Garuda statue rose in Leiden, filling the void left by the Singosari statues, let us fill our shared heritage with new voices, stories, and connections. By embracing evolving identities, harnessing innovative tools, and staying ethically aware, we can make heritage a compass for the future, for a shared future. Let's invest in our libraries to make collections globally accessible to IIIF digitization. Now, I propose a bold initiative uniting Indonesia and the Netherlands to digitize colonial era documents, like the VOC archives and the Punchy Tales, building on existing efforts. A shared platform, enhanced with AI tools to bridge language barriers, would enable communities to annotate and reinterpret records, fostering dialogues across borders. Ladies and gentlemen, let's create tools that turn old documents into new histories. Let's ensure access, participation, and inclusion while safeguarding data and cultural integrity. Let's rewrite history. Let's rewrite history together so that every voice, past and present, shapes a story that is alive, relevant, and meaningful for tomorrow. Thank you very much.